Paintsville City Hall, and let's say the pledge is right back here on the window.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Nicholas.
Here.
Bo.
Fred.
Here.
Here.
Tim.
Here.
David.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
And there are no announcements by the mayor, so let's move on to business. Recommendation to council, Mead investment zoning change. If you don't know where that's at, it's up on Starfar Hill. And basically what he's wanting to do is he's wanting to move all those trailers out of there and build a housing facility, apartment facility up there to an R3. And all the members of the planning and zoning voted yes on that change, and he just needs approval from city council now.
So it's apartments?
Yes.
And the zoning
It will
change.
be.
It will be, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than what's
What I
up.
was told yesterday, the reason it is that he can build more on R3 than he can R1.
Great idea.
Just expands it.
Well, it goes from a single family to a multi-family.
Yeah. Serve more people. But I make a motion to recommend the council meet invest in zoning change.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Second reading of ordinance promoting public health and the requirement of certification of recovery residents providing treatment for alcohol and other drug abuse.
Okay, this will be read in summary. The title of the ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Paintsville, Kentucky, promoting public health and the requirement of certification of recovery residences providing treatment for alcohol and other drug abuse. Be ordained by the City Council, City of Paintsville. The purpose is to follow state legislation passed in June of 2023 that recognizes recovery residences are vital to address the drug crisis, but that the lack of regulation can create an atmosphere for predatory operators to take advantage of persons in need of recovery. This requires certification of each recovery residence in Paintsville is operated pursuant to minimum standards by an approved organization that develops and administers professional certification programs. Currently, the most commonly recognized certification is by the National Alliance for Recovery Residences, which is NARR. NARR was established in 2011 by a group of organizations and individuals with vast experience in recovery housing from across the country for the purpose of developing and maintaining a national standard for all levels of recovery housing in which skills vital for sustained recovery are learned and practiced in a home-like setting. These standards include administrative operations, physical environment, recovery support, good neighbor, and a code of ethics. Involve 10 principles, 31 standards, and their individual rules. The NARR national standards are certified by state agencies. In Kentucky, the Kentucky Recovery Housing Network is an authorized certifying organization. Each certification requires an on-site inspection and includes compliance with all other city regulations, including fire safety code, building code, property maintenance code, business license, and zoning codes. This ordinance exercises the option of state law to enforce this regulatory scheme on a local level, provides for the appointment of a recovery residence compliance officer, and enforcement mechanism against property owners utilizing the current code enforcement board.
I make a motion to approve the second reading of what Jeff just read.
I'll second.
And that
Easiest way to do that.
that will require a roll call vote.
Nicholas.
Yes.
Bo.
Yes.
Eva.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And Mr. Baldwin, when will that take effect?
It will need to be published. This is the second reading. Once it gets published, it will take effect.
Okay, third thing on the agenda, and Judge McKenzie is here. If you've got any questions, I'm sure he'll be willing to answer them. I'm sure we can do that in special call, correct? If it's on the agenda, can we discuss it?
Yeah.
Okay. Judge McKenzie has sent a letter on the operation of the EMS service. I gave all of you a copy. I hope you read it. And I guess we need to decide a little bit here today what you want to do with that.
I thought it, you want to look at it? I got a little couple of notes.
Any discussion on it?
I've read it. I just trying to remember. What, do we need a motion on it, or? what
No,
do we just-
no, we, this is just a discussion.
Okay.
That's all this is.
Well, I truly appreciate
Yeah, I want to thank him.
the efforts that's been made, because this is an issue, and Judge knows I've, talked to him a long, long time ago in his office, and it's just, I appreciate the effort and the willingness to come to some kind of, resolution of this thing, and I mean, it become obvious that, it's a whole lot for this little town to chew off, I mean, it is, and I just appreciate the efforts and the willingness, because the last thing I want to see, me personally, is losing ambulance service anywhere. Because, it could be me, it could be one of my loved ones, anybody outside of this city limits in an accident or anything. But, at the same time, we have costs to consider. We have, those type things. And, I appreciate, the willingness of you, Judge, and the fiscal court to try to help us with it. Is it enough? I don't know. I guess it's a start.
Is it?
But
I know the 200,000 is that for the year 2025 only? Is that correct?
For 2025, yes.
It's a year-to-year thing.
Yeah.
Judge.
Or is it a
Yeah,
year?
because your numbers go up.
Right, because it could go up or it could
Okay,
come down.
that's what I
That's
wanted to
I
know.
thought.
Well,
Those numbers are based on the information you all provided.
Right.
Yeah.
From your auditor
Right.
and your run sheets. So those are your all's numbers, and those calculations are based on your numbers.
all right.
I think what they're asking,
I
Judge, is
just meant
this.
it wasn't a 1 year deal.
Well, it has to be 1 year at a time because.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Because
Yeah.
next year, the auditor will come sometime around the first of the year.
I think
Once
what
the
the-
audit is complete, he'll come with a financial
I
report.
think what they're asking is that
a long-term
if
commitment.
if this doesn't work out after 1 year,
I'm sorry.
then we can rediscuss the situation.
It has to, I think it'll have to be rediscussed every year once you get.
Probably right.
It will.
your audit.
That makes
sense.
Because you all may decide that
That
things
makes
change
sense.
on the operational side.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not coverage, it may just simply be operational decisions. So I think it has to be, we all make decisions based upon the outcomes of our audits and our operations year to year. And so that's what this is based on, but because the numbers were provided post-audit, that's the reason the proposal is that essentially it would be a reimbursement of expenses for calendar year 25, because that's basically when the audit was complete for 24. And so you kind of could keep the same time frame. You would expect your auditor to complete his audit by the end of 25 for the year 25, and so then it can recalculate and you reboot and you start for 26. So
That makes sense to me.
continuing rolls.
Yeah.
And so in your letter, you had a statement in there said, I share this information not to keep score.
Correct. Well, I think
What
there's a
does
lot of
that mean?
It means that there have been several times that comments have been made that folks that we live within the city limits, of which I'm one of them, that pays city property taxes doesn't get any benefits from the fiscal court general fund, and I think that it's important that we note that the general fund supports a lot of services within the city for all residents of Johnson County, including those in the city limits. And I think that when those discussions arise, those comments are made, I think it's important to clarify that the county fiscal court budget general fund does provide services for all the county, including those within the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're yes, everybody in the city pays county property taxes, but there's also a benefit from that as well, as I listed some of the general areas there and the amounts to which that were provided during the last fiscal year. It was a point of clarification and a point of information. So then I think the better we tell our story, the better we work together as a community, the better we will thrive and move forward.
But we are all aware that our county property taxes take care of what was listed in the letter, correct?
Yeah, I mean, for example, I
Because
mean,
we pay 2 property taxes here in the city.
that's correct. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so our property tax budget is roughly around $675,000 a year for the
About
entire
like ours.
entire county. Entire county.
Mhm.
All right. So my point is that obviously there are services provided to all residents of the county, including those in the city, and those are approximately calculated to nearly $200,000 a year just based on population. So about a third of what we collect in property taxes is used for residents within the city. So it was just for information purposes, because
So
sometimes there's a perception that we collect property.
it would be safe to say that our county property taxes that we pay if we live in the city would cover the 196,000 listed on this letter,
course.
correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. The better educated we are as a community, I think the better we function, the better we move forward.
And it's been way too long for this to happen. You know what I'm saying? It should have been done a long time ago. And I'm not saying that you were even county judge when this happened, Judge. I'm just talking about a long time ago.
Well, you know, I don't think people need to keep score on anything. I think everybody needs to do what's right every time. And we're all in this for the betterment of our community and our county. And if we're not, we need to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get out of this. And, you know, and I just think we all need to work together. We need to have everybody's best interest at heart. I mean, we do. We just need to do what's best for our city and our county and our state, really. And like I said, I don't know. I mean, that's 200,000 is a good start, and appreciate the other ambulance too, Judge. And
We have two factors too, Councilman, as well. First of all, let me reiterate that $200,000 is based on the numbers that were provided.
right,
to me.
I understand that. Oh, absolutely.
Numbers that
Yeah,
might
I
have
read
been
it.
discussed
Yeah.
in a private meeting about 3
Yeah,
weeks ago.
I get it.
So-
I get it.
So, and the second thing is that you have two other factors. One is we were happy to provide the support for the ambulance purchase because two things that can help the revenue streams that are at play. One is upgraded equipment to be available, for transfers. Transfers increases your revenues. The second thing is there was a House bill that was passed this year in this legislation that increases your Medicaid reimbursement for Medicaid runs with your ambulance. So you have two factors at play that this community should see benefit from in the coming months. Once that legislation is in place, your Medicaid reimbursements are up, because the goal there is that they did not want rural ambulance services to have to make Medicaid runs and lose money. They didn't want rural ambulance services to be in the money making business, but they want them to be in the break even public service business, public safety business. So that House bill that passed unanimously in the House and the Senate, right, Virginia? I think, with full support, increases that Medicaid reimbursement so that ambulance services are at a break even on Medicaid runs. So I think going forward, those two things will provide some additional revenue support for this service that serves this entire community.
But that 200,000 was based on the deficit only.
It was based on the shortfall of funding of $500,000.
It was not based on what we actually spent.
Well, no, I mean, because you basically at the end of
Because
the
if
day,
you base it on what we actually spent, it's 877,000.
well, according to your auditor's report, your shortfall on your ambulance alone.
I'm not talking about the short. I'm talking about what we spent.
I'm sorry, I'm not following, but it's okay.
Yeah, what we spent.
Yeah.
We actually spent, I think, over $2 million
Yes, we did.
on your
About the
ambulance.
40% that would be attributed to him.
Yeah, the 40% of the shortfall is.
No, he meant like the total that we spent out operating.
I'm just making a point that the 200,000 is on the shortfall.
Right.
That's correct. Look, right.
The 40% would not be on what we actually spent.
Well, that's.
It was
probably a good
512,000.
The shortfall was.
Yeah.
We actually spent 2.3 million, Miss Jamie.
Right.
Yeah.
This ambulance is going to be just put in, like, it's not just going to be for transport, right? It's going to be just put in service with the others we have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I guess for clarification, Mayor, if you had $500,000 additional funds, then your ambulance service would have been break even on your operations, according to your
Yes.
audit.
Yes.
So my calculation was based upon the fact that if you had $500,000
Shortfall.
shortfall, then
Yeah.
that would be
Right.
break even. So if by the calculations I was provided, if approximately it varied between 35 and 40%, we just use a 40% number as easy math. 40% of that shortfall was the $200,000.
Right, right.
You all attributed to.
But I just wanted to point out to council that it was actually on the shortfall only. It wasn't on what was
Right.
actually
That's what you're
spent.
missing in cash.
Right.
That's,
So do I have permission from council for me and Judge to work on this together and come up with a solution and the paperwork that's required and whatever?
Absolutely.
Do we need to vote on permission?
Well, authority to enter into a memorandum of understanding, I'm assuming will be,
Yeah, probably an agreement actually, because it has financial implications. Jeff. I think you're right. Yeah, it'd be an MOA.
Well, let's do that just to be safe. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the
looking
motion.
for a motion, to give the mayor authority to
Come into
work on
agreement,
an
come to an agreement
be,
with,
expressed to a memorandum of agreement with fiscal court concerning the money to be provided by the fiscal court for operation of the ambulance service.
I make a motion that Coach Runyon, has our permission to come to an agreement with Judge McKenzie and the physical court to take care of the ambulance service in EMS.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.